Tonight, and welcome to the Lower Gwinnett Township Board of Supervisors regular meeting for October the 13th. Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is today, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be aware that this meeting is being audio recorded. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the receipt of the minutes for September the 22nd. Any of the supervisors have a comment? Can I have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept as presented.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Next is the receipt of the invoice history for both August and September. As you recall, our last meeting, the August invoice history wasn't quite ready exactly on time, so we have two to approve. Is our finance director here today, Craig?
Yes, he is. The grand entrance, maybe?
Okay.
There we go. Here we go.
Okay. Chuck, our finance director here, looking over the September revenues and expenses, and it looks like we're just about $1 million ahead of the game here. Why are we doing so well?
He's showing up as being muted. Chuck, you need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'll address the September report. We're doing well both in terms of year over year as well as actual to budget. The overall revenues year over year increased by $579,169. We're seeing increases in the real estate transfer taxes, EIT, the business privilege tax, and the mercantile tax. They all partially offset the lower real estate tax collections, which we believe is timing. The lower land development driven revenue in terms of permits and permits, and also interest. The LST revenue is flat right now. Flattened out in August and September, that had been running ahead. Expenditures decreased year over year, $347,226, and that's mainly the fact that there's no debt service this year, which was $232,002 in 19. There's reductions in some operating expenses, such as fuel, materials, supplies, conferences, etc., related to the COVID restrictions, and that's partially offset by net increases in other expenses, including wages due to annual increase. We're 75% through the year right now. If you look at the revenue section there, several of our categories are at or over 100% right now. Real estate taxes, real estate transfer taxes, mercantile taxes, and business privilege tax. Overall, everything in the revenue side looks good. If you turn over to the next page with the expenditures, we're 75% through the year, so you'd expect to see those expenses in the vicinity of 75%. All are under 75% at this point of the year. Our general fund cash balance as of the end of September was $4,633,707. Just some other information. We received our Volunteer Fire Relief Association aid in the amount of $121,368.02 versus budget of $120,000. This is the pass-through to the Volunteer Fire Company Relief Associations. And our pension aid in the amount of $275,734 was received, and that's versus budget of $267,010. And we received our PERD distribution in October in the amount of $7,491.54 versus budget of $7,541. So we continue to be in good shape.
Yeah, I'll say, I'm in touch with other townships, other peers, and other committees that we're jointly on, and I talked to them, and they've got to rethink their entire budget because they're not doing well. COVID has really had an impact on them, and these are surrounding townships. These aren't far away. This is all in southeastern Montgomery County, and it's I'm almost embarrassed to tell them that we're on target. We're doing well in Lower Gwinnett. So it's I feel for them, but we're very fortunate to live in a township with a tax base of what we have. So I'm still amazed, and it's a good problem to have. Do any of the supervisors have any questions about the budget, the balance sheet?
No, I'll just second your remarks.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. Are there any questions from the public on the budget or the balance sheet?
I'm trying to see here. Sorry.
It's all right.
I don't see any, Craig.
Don't see anything here, and nothing on the email either.
Okay, so can I have a motion to accept the budget report and the balance sheet for August and September?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Did we do the invoice history as well?
Actually, no, we did the budget and the balance sheet. Yeah, we need a vote on the invoice history. All those in favor, can I have a motion for the invoice history?
I make a motion to accept the August and September 2020 invoice history.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Authorization for the 2020 capital projects, the park signs. I don't see our park director here, Craig.
No, she was having some issues at home with the water problem in the eastern part of the county. So she is at home now. But what we're looking at is it's a capital project that the Park and Rec Board reviewed last month. It was in the budget report for 2020. We budgeted $12,000 for upgrading 3 signs, one at Penland Woods, one at Oxford Park, and 3 at Penn Ambler Park. The total is $11,075 from Signorama in Lansdale. And these will be carved PVC signs. What we were having problems with in the past was the wooden signs were getting either damaged by, tell you the truth, woodpeckers were really destroying these signs, and other things were also destroying them. But a lot of woodpeckers were down there. So, so we're looking at a PVC carved sign in the amount of $11,075 from Signorama in Lansdale.
Okay, well, we are a bird town, so I guess the birds are making themselves at home with our sign. So do I have any questions from the other supervisors?
I just had a question. Did we get 3 estimates or we just went with Signorama?
I believe she got 3 estimates. verbal, and the lowest one, she got a full printed quote for that.
Craig, what is the lifespan of the signs expected to be?
The lifespan, I don't know, but hopefully, 5 to 7 years. With the PVC, it might be longer.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any additional questions from the supervisors? Are there any questions from the public?
I don't see anything, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello? Okay, question from the public. These are not electronic signs, correct?
No, these are PVC carved signs, similar to what's out there now, except it's going to be in PVC.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. Can I have your name? Can I have your name and address?
Sure. Lynn Smith, 507 Hobby Horse Hill. I understand the woodpeckers.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions from the public?
I don't see anything. No hands are raised, at least.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve authorize the signs?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we have a line item here to appoint the deputy tax collector. And Craig, I meant to call you earlier. Now, is this an appointment or approval?
Approval.
It's an approval. It's an appointment by Linda Sachs to Bernadette Doherty to appoint her as the deputy tax collector. Bernadette, as everyone knows, was appointed to the deputy tax collector for Betty Lou Yost as well. So this is just to clean up the deputy tax collector. So she would be actually working to close out the books for Betty Lou still, and moving forward to work alongside with Linda Sachs.
Very good. So this is an approval of the appointment is really what my point was, right? So we had a discussion on that several meetings ago. Are there any questions from the supervisors? Are there any questions from members of the public?
I don't see anything.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is a proposal for the Lower Gwinnett Township Emergency Management Services Complex Master Planning. So, Craig, I saw our EMS coordinator on here earlier. Is he?
He is still on, and there he is.
I am here. I am here.
Microphone, we're working now.
Absolutely.
Mr. Frank Baxter is here to maybe shed some light on this. I guess I'll just give a little bit of background on this, Frank, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And I was asked to put a meeting together with the Emergency Management Subcommittee, which is Tessie and Kathleen, and along with Folkways, and Frank Baxter was on the line, and maybe a couple more people. And that happened on September 15th. And what this is a discussion with a possible land transfer from Folkways to the township in order to house a new township services complex on that land, which is off of Meeting House Road and 202. and we met and we had a nice discussion. I think, in my opinion, it was a nice discussion between the Township Folkways, North Penn Volunteer Fire Company, and I think the bottom line of that was to maybe move forward and find a planner to help us work our way through it to get, you know, a building design, not a building design, but a footprint, see what everyone's needs would be for this location and see if we can fit a complex on the location with all the needs that we're looking at. North Penn Volunteer Fire Company, Frank Baxter was there. He reached out, or he didn't reach out, but he's been working with Bonnet Associates from Eddystone, Pennsylvania, on different projects that North Penn is doing. And I think from there, I'll give it to you, Frank, and you can give some background on Bonnet and how your relationship works with Bonnet.
Thank you. I would probably just, Craig, if I can, echo our meeting with Folkways, Lower Gwinnett, North Penn. It was one of the most positive, and the two supervisors there were very amenable to, you know, let's see what the potential is. This is a concept only right now. We're only asking to potentially bring Bonnet Associates in with Peter Menica is the lead architect to do concept drawings to see if this could even work out, because the thought process is this would be a shared services building, both with North Penn Volunteer Fire Company, Ambulance, and the Public Works of Lower Gwinnett. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. I think Folkways admitted that piece of parcel, it's sort of difficult to build anything there because just the way it is and located in relationship to Meeting House Road and the Cal Pipe. This would be a win-win situation for everyone because we could make that land usable. It could be a firehouse that's well needed for the North Penn Volunteer Fire Company that's currently storing their resources for Lower Gwinnett in a garage. If I took pictures of it, you would be amazed. So now that would put it in a respectable fire station. We would give the ability for the ambulance to have a ambulance there 24/7. And they were very concerned on Public Works, but Craig, you said it very succinctly that you would use this for off-season storage. Is that the best? I think you described that really, really well.
Yep.
You want to elaborate on that?
Most likely in the summer, we would have snow plows up there, and in the winter, we would have any kind of mowing equipment and stuff like that up there. So we wouldn't be in there every day, all the time. We certainly would not be putting salt or anything like that, gas pumps, salt, or anything like that up there. It would strictly be off-season storage that we would be looking for, if at all.
So we've been dealing with bond associations for probably 3 to 4 years. They have been involved with the design of our North Wales station. If you drive through North Wales, all we're getting is compliments because they just did a fantastic job. It's on Main Street. They did a really good job blending in the brick and the building and the roof. So they did a really good job, and hopefully we'll be using them again. We're going for a state grant, and I'm crossing my fingers that is a go, and they are going to be helping with that project. So they're a perfect fit. They have experience with municipal buildings for Public Works. They have experience with doing firehouses, and this combined is just a perfect opportunity for all of us.
Yeah, it's a very interesting project, and maybe Ed could shed some light on this, but because I know that the discussions with Folkways about a firehouse up there precedes my tenure by years, and I've been on the board for 11 years. And Ed, how far does this go back, the discussions with having a firehouse up there and the Folkways conversations? Do you know how long it's been going on?
As long as I've been involved, and that's like 35 years. The thing I remember the most about it is we had a police officer, Mr. Callan, who worked as a police officer and also a longtime volunteer for North Penn Fire Company. And there was an engine there, and there still is, like Frank said. But this was a working one, and he was in a hurry, and he forgot to open the door when he drove the fire truck, and that was a comedy scene, I guess. But we have had and still do dedicated people in that area of the township, and to do anything but expanding would be a negative position for the fire company, the township, and something that I've been pushing for is there's a major gap in accessibility to an ambulance in that area. When you take a look at the ambulance that cover that area now, they have to drive a distance. And knowing the elderly that are there at Folkways, I've been in support of the expansion of a firehouse. And I had talked to North Penn over the years that could we have one bay for an ambulance. And they have always been cooperative and favorable for doing a combination. So Mark, to answer your question, it goes back 35 to 40 years because the old garage was being squeezed out by Folkways, and North Penn needed a new position. So when they actually took away portions of Meeting House Road and created the new entrance onto 202, when that was done, there was a position presented to them by North Penn and Lower Gwinnett Township that a piece of ground off of the new Meeting House Road would be dedicated to North Penn. And North Penn was always cooperative in working with any of the ambulance that may be appointed to that area. So Mark, to answer your question, it goes at least 35 to 40 years. And Frank may say it even goes further. So that's a little bit of the background.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ed.
I was just going to add that we were pretty close to actually building it many years ago, but we had some land transfer issues. Mainly that property was owned by the Friends, not Folkways. It's now been transferred to Folkways, and we were very pleasantly surprised that Folkways is willing to work with us on this property.
Yeah, I want to thank my fellow supervisors, your staff, the township, because I was very interested in how that subcommittee meeting went. And I was quite pleased when I heard the results, because otherwise the old Irishman would be doing a dance up there at Folkways. But I'm happy it was very a positive results for both North Penn and Lower Gwinnett, and the residents of Folkways to have an ambulance right at their back door.
Yeah, it was a positive meeting, and this proposal comes out of we decided before even to talk about the land transfer from Folkways to the township, we really have to get our arms around what our needs are, number one, across the township, the fire department and the ambulance, and then how we can use the land in the most productive way for a structure. So at this point, we're not talking about a fully architectured or engineered plan. We're just talking about a concept plan, a site plan, so then we can have more intelligent and productive conversations with what that transfer is actually going to look like.
Mm. I'd also like to thank Kathleen and Tessie. They'll be taking the point on this for the township, and will be coordinating the efforts of all the parties along with Folkways. And Folkways is going to stay involved with this. They have they've got they have an interest in it's their gift to the people of Lower Gwinnett Township, and again, I'd like to thank them for that. And it sounds like we have a good partners all the way around. I have no doubt we'll have a good result come out of this. So it's been a long time coming. So Frank, I cut you off. Did you have something to say?
No, I just wanted to agree with Mr. Brandt. It's been a very, very long time.
Yeah, good. So I take it, Craig, we need a motion.
We would need a motion to approve Bonnet Associates Incorporated out of Eddystone, Pennsylvania for architectural master planning services in the amount of $12,800. This is obviously was not budgeted, but we will be able to find the money in the general fund.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve Bonnet for $12,800?
I would be honored to make that motion.
Okay, Tessie, you had a question?
Well, I'm just going to point out that maybe for clarity, for people who weren't involved with the discussions, like Kathleen and I were, that this agreement that we're going to vote on is just, as Kathleen was saying, to help guide us to learn what we want in this structure. And so that's why the cost is modest, I think. It's just a first step in helping us make this design. So the process will be, I'm understanding that once we make a decision on actually what we want, then it'll be a next step, and things will be bid out and on contract and so forth. So this is just an initial agreement to get us started.
Yeah, this would just be a professional services agreement here with Bonnet, and it would, like Tessie mentioned, it would put us, he's going to interview the township, North Penn, community ambulance, the supervisors, the subcommittee supervisors, to try to put a picture together. Right now it's a jigsaw puzzle, and he's going to try to put it all together. So it's just to help us move along and see what we can do.
I just have a quick question, just for clarity. I didn't see a timeline. Does he have an expected time frame that he's going to complete this beginning or the professional services portion?
He does not. In this proposal, there was no time frame, but he is ready to get started on that as quickly as we want to move, is kind of what he's saying to me.
So, I mean, the goal is for it to be as fast as possible. There's not.
We would probably be looking at maybe the spring of 2021 before we would be even ready to even consider going out to a bid or anything like that. I mean, one of the ideas is for the subcommittee to visit other recently built fire stations in the area. So there's going to be some trips involved and different meetings involved. So it may take a little bit longer than what we may be thinking, but probably looking at the spring of 2021 as a finished product, and to come in front and see how we want to move ahead with that. We also want to work with Folkways about the transfer too of the land. So they have to be on board with everything as well before they would consider transferring any of the land over to us.
I just want to be clear, just because I didn't see outlined any specific deliverables that were identified. Is it more just project management? He's going to help coordinate the project and give an outline of what the project could and should look like, and then it's up to us to consider how we want to move forward along with the other partners?
Correct. I think what he's going to show is a footprint of what the building could look like with what I want, what Frank wants, what Dan Azaf, I know you're on the line here. I see your name. What the supervisors would like to see, and try to put that together in a footprint and get an agreement from Folkways, and then move forward with that.
So my only question is about the monies that we're extending. If we're not in agreement, if they're, for whatever reason, our communications and our ideas or the project break down, we're still on the line for his professional services.
Correct. Yeah, you would still be providing us a plan if the township, North Penn, and community ambulance cannot agree on anything, and then Folkways turns around and they don't like it either. He's still going to provide something to us, and it may be that we don't get along, and it should not be a good partnership, and that could be his plan as well. But I think we can work along. We work together and get an idea. Mm-hmm.
Can I just ask one final question? How many other organizations did we reach out to beyond Bonnet?
We did not reach out to any, as this is a professional services that has a relationship already with North Penn. We did not reach out to any other professional service.
And Craig, if I may, right now we're just looking for concept. So, when we sit in a room right now, we all can say what our needs are. He's going to memorialize those needs and put it in paper. And as being an architect, say, yes, this will work or it won't work. We're very, very conscious of what it should look like in Lower Gwinnett, what Folkways' expectation is. And, Public Works has to say what will work for them. So he's going to herd cats. That's what he's going to get paid for, and bring us all together to put something on paper.
And Danielle, we, whatever functions that we need to have in this structure, it needs to fit on that little piece of land. So that's the other component that we have to make sure that we're the right size.
That's true. I think it's 3.8 acres, so it's not a big piece of land for a firehouse, a community, ambulance, and anything the township may need.
I'd like to add a couple of points. Number one, I hope the transition from Folkways to Lower Gwinnett for the piece of ground that we're talking about goes as smoothly as the transfer of old Meeting House Road to Folkways, because that had value to Folkways, and that's why they wanted it. And I hope that the staff and management keep that in mind. The other point I want to make before I forget and get it on record is for Kathleen and Tessie, the both of you, if you're working on this subcommittee, along with Craig and the rest of the supervisors, there is an important point I want to make to them that I would prefer to do in an executive session before we move forward in one particular part of this project. So I just want to make sure the supervisors and the staff get those comments in executive session, and I'm just asking them to make note of that. Otherwise, let's move forward.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next on the agenda, citizen comments, concerns, or questions for items that don't appear on the agenda. Is there any questions from the public? Craig?
Yes, I have Deborah Schaefer. I'm asking to unmute.
I just did.
Huh.
I just wanted to go on record to say thank you to the Board of Supervisors and whichever department was responsible for repair to the trail between, basically between Foxfield Road and the driveway to the Garvin House. Really appreciate that it's in good repair and not a danger for falling. And I look forward to more refurbishment of the other parts of the trail that need it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Deborah. That was Fred Zollers, who's on the line here, our new Public Works Director, directed the Public Works Department to repave that section. So you heard it, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Craig, is there anybody else on the in the meeting?
Not seeing anyone. Let me just check the email real quick. Sorry. Okay.
Hi, this is Lynn Smith again.
Hi, Lynn.
Hey, so I was calling about the new electronic sign at the Baptist Church. And I understand that they did follow zoning rules, that electronic signs are okay for churches and schools, and I guess public buildings.
Yes.
I don't think it's appropriate for our area, and it's extremely bright. At night, it is extremely bright. So I think one of the things that's going on is they're not turning down, you know, it's bright so you can see it in the day, but they're not turning it down at night.
Okay, we can look into that. They were having at the last meeting. Someone also brought up the sign and how it was, I guess, rotating all the time. We reached out. The zoning officer reached out to Bethlehem Baptist. They didn't know how to work their sign. To be
Yeah,
blunt.
that's what I had.
And
I had a feeling about that.
so they did change the timing on the sign. However, it's not perfect. I saw that the other day during the day. I have not seen it at night, but I will also have the zoning officer reach out to Bethlehem Baptist and see if there is a night mode and a day mode, and also about the changing of the signs itself.
I also think it's very distracting for that intersection. That's a busy intersection. I find it very distracting. And I guess my next point is how do we change the zoning? I know we have it at the high school. I know you have it at the township building. But to me, Penland Pike is not the place to have an electronic sign. And I would hate to see that start getting duplicated all over our township.
Neil,
Yeah.
Could you chime in on this? I know there's a great deal of litigation, or at least there was throughout the state about the sign ordinances, and
That had to do with billboards, Mark.
more with billboards. Okay.
Yeah.
So could you offer any insight to this?
Well, as I understand it, they went to the zoning hearing board. I'm not sure what they needed, whether it was a special exception or a variance, but it's up to the board with the recommendation of the planning commission whether to make any changes to your zoning code. Certainly you could, if you wanted to, regulate electronic signs. There would be no constitutional issues associated with that type of regulation.
I just had, I have the ordinance in front of me, and I had actually looked into it, and I just wanted clarification. So theirs is a changeable text electronic message board, and it is permitted by special exception on properties, and then it lists the type of properties. Is there nothing in our ordinance or anywhere else, because I know that this was added July 28th of 2015. Is there no time frame, meaning midnight to 6 a.m. or something along those lines, that it should not be running?
Yeah, during the special exception, those parameters are put in, similar to what we have outside the township building. the first day I put the sign on, I got notice from Ken Amy that the sign was in violation because it wasn't turned off by 11 o'clock. I think it's 11 to 7 a.m.
That's what I did.
It
Yes.
has to be completely turned off. So I don't know if that's happening down there. I haven't been down there between those hours.
I saw it at midnight the other night, and so I was just trying to make a determination of if they had a different exception in addition to the special exception that prevented them from needing to turn it off.
No,
I think Ken had seen that too. Somebody notified him that it was still on at midnight. And I think that was just an error in how they programmed their sign with the timing, because I'm pretty sure he said theirs was also 11.
I met with Reverend Kwan at the post office, and he was asking me about comments from people and the staff about the sign. So he's a very cooperative individual with the community. He went to the zoning hearing board, and I'm sure that the time of the lighting of a sign can be addressed. He's been very cooperative and gone through the channels that he has to go through to get the sign he wanted.
I just had one other question, and I did not see it specified anywhere. Is there any restriction to the type of colors? Just because there's an array of colors that they have, purple, pink, orange. Is there any specifications as to if you have a text electronic sign that there's a limit to the number of colors?
not colors, but any animation that they might have on there is not allowed. There's
So the falling leaves and
correct. Yeah, like if it's I don't know.
There is some animation. That's why I was asking.
Yes, I'll have Ken Amy reach out to. I think Brenda was the person that he talked to last time, and she's very cooperative, and they were just getting to know their sign. So I'll have him reach out and clarify everything that they have to do.
Have they learned where the off button is yet?
I think they know where the off button is. They just don't know how to do a timer on it. So, but they will. They'll find it.
But back to the point about can we address this going forward, which I fully agree with the caller, that I would hate to see these signs popping up everywhere around the township more than we have now. So how can we address that going forward? Neil, do you have some advice?
Yeah, well, certainly it's a policy decision for the board, and I would recommend input from the Planning Commission as well. But you can build criteria into the zoning ordinance so that, for example, if the property is located in a residential zoning district, that such a sign not be permitted. I'm accustomed to seeing them permitted in institutional districts, which is typically where you have schools and churches. But in a residential district, and I believe the church is in a residential district, it's very unusual to see those types of signs. So you may want to consider limiting the presence of those signs to institutional districts only.
I think how the wording is, it's for institutions and nonprofits. It goes by the use of the land, not the zoning in our ordinance. So that's where that's how they got just a simple special exception for that. So.
Neil, I think another thing that was brought up to me by another resident was that kind of within less than a mile, we have 3 signs with the middle school, the high school, and now the church. Would we be able to restrict how many signs are in close proximity to one another?
That may be a little more questionable because then it becomes a first come, first serve type of zoning decision. But I can certainly look into that, but I think that would be questionable.
Can we ask you to come back to the board in our next meeting with a way to mitigate this situation going forward?
Certainly.
Yeah, I work with Ken Amy and come back to us with some recommendations, and then we can take another look at all of this.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that they're permitted by special exception. Usually that type of sign is either not permitted or permitted by variance only.
Okay. Thank you. Lynn, I hope we've addressed at least some of your questions. We're going to take some further action here. And, please attend the next meeting, so future meetings, so you can keep us honest, because I want to make sure that we address this.
I will, and I have another point, but I believe it's in another township, is that the Baptist Church has the church in Penlyn. And right now they have a normal sign there. And the next thing, there could be another electronic sign there. And I feel that those electronic signs, as you guys say, is really more institutional. It's not meant for neighborhoods.
Okay, so Neil, please make a note of that and make sure you give that some consideration in your upcoming discussions.
Will do.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, and I will attend the next meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. If there are no more questions or comments from the citizens, we have the manager's report. Is there anybody out there, Craig, or any emails?
No emails, no chat, and no hand raised. So I only have one thing for the manager's report, and it's really just information item. On November 3rd is obviously the election. The county has decided to use the township building as a voting place. Again, in the primary, we were eliminated from that, and everyone was down at the school district. We are going to use the township building, and I just letting everyone know that a lot of the administrative staff have already put in for the day off, so they could practice social distancing in the building, so they're not sharing bathrooms and everything. We're going to have the building cleaned that night before anyone comes back in the next day. But so there will be a very limited staff in the administrative side in the township on November 3rd, the election day. So.
Okay, thank you. And I'm glad you brought up the election as well. I saw from the county that they have designated drop-off sites throughout the county, and the closest drop-off site for a non-in-person ballot is the Upper Dublin Township Building. That is of last week. Previously, I think the closest site was in Lansdale for us, but Upper Dublin Township Building is very close. And can we get those site locations? Could you have those posted on our website as well?
Yes, I think they are, but we'll keep pounding it out. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Craig, will there be security people in the building during the day, election day?
The police will be there, yes.
Okay.
Police and Public Works will be there. I haven't heard of too many of them taking the day off, but administrative side, they were a little more nervous about working together with everyone. So.
Right. I was just imagining when you said that there wouldn't be a proper oversight of the facility.
Oh, no. No, it'll be fine.
Good.
Greg, question. Greg, is the county or the township responsible for supervising distances as people wait in line where you go to the post office or many places that the floor is marked for the 6-foot designation separation from somebody else? Is that going to be addressed by the county, or does the township have to do that?
The county with their poll workers will be working on that and controlling that, not the township. We're just not letting them, but we're opening our doors to use the facility as a polling place. They will do the rest.
All right. Something for since we're talking about polling places, for Danielle and Tessie, I've been in favor of the polling place at the Township 2-2 to try to get it moved to Springhouse Estates because the people have to come over on a yearly basis to vote. And it's just something I always thought was, years ago, it was held there. But I like to see it move back. Just a point of reference to Danielle and Tessie. That's all.
Okay.
Ed, have you talked to the voter services about that in Norristown?
Yeah, I was going to say that that's controlled completely by the Montgomery County Board of Elections. It's totally separate from the governance of the township.
Yes, I know, but at the same time, it's the getting the approval from Springhouse that they would entertain such a thing happening.
So I think Axe was pretty clear, and this is just me monitoring what's happening at the Montgomery County Board of Elections. The Axe Services is no longer going to allow any of their facilities to be polling places moving forward.
Well, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If Craig, it doesn't
That's
sound
all I
like
have.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Craig. Sorry, Mark.
Go ahead.
Can we have an update, if you have any, on, or maybe Jamie is the better person to ask, on the resolution for our communications officer, or hiring somebody
Sure.
for
Jamie,
communications?
you want to take that, Jamie, or?
Sure. We've posted the RFP, and I think I've sent out about 11 different places that have reached out and wanted a copy of the request. And I've gotten a couple questions back from a couple different entities that are interested in submitting something, just kind of just trying to answer questions they have about what's in the request. And I haven't received anything yet. I did get I got 2 emails of people asking if they submitted electronically, how can they do that? Can they do that by just putting it in a Dropbox, that kind of stuff. But I haven't gotten anything yet, but it's open until the 23rd of October. So I think I'll get everything probably that day, maybe, so.
Okay, thanks for the update.
Sure.
Thank you. Well, Tessie, this is the supervisor's comments section. So you've had your comment. Do you have any more comments?
No,
You're
no,
good. Okay.
I'm just wanting to remind people to, I'm always saying this, to get out and vote. And even under these special circumstances, it's really important that everybody carry through and make their vote count.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Brandt, do you have any comments?
No, I think it was a good meeting, and I look forward to seeing the progress of the building on Meeting House Road. But otherwise, the budget report is very satisfying, and I think that the township is doing a good job with the pandemic that we're in, and so that's all the comments I have.
Thank you. Thank you. Kathleen, do you have any comments?
Yes, I just wanted to thank Bernadette Doherty. She was hanging on the line here for a while, but she has since left us, for her work up to this point, helping Betty Lou in the tax office, and thanking her for remaining with us in the interim until the next year's election. And I also want to point out, because I don't know if it was really made quite clear, that Frank Baxter, who was talking in our conversation about Meeting House Road Firehouse, he is Lower Gwinnett Township's emergency manager. and he has been for 28 years. He deserves that acknowledgement, and he's well qualified to be on the team moving forward to develop this firehouse.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Mark, there is something else I should have mentioned is on an update on Betty Lou Yost. She has been moved from Lansdale Hospital up to Sellersville, the hospital up there. Not only is she having heart problems, but now it's kidney problems. And it's, unfortunately, it doesn't look good. So I just wanted to give it an update that she has been transferred to another hospital up in outside of Sellersville, Grandview, I guess it's called.
Okay, and I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, we're still in shock a little bit. Betty Lou's been a fixture in this community for 30 years, and
Yep.
Just a unfortunate situation. And our prayers are with her. She's been a a real asset to all the people in Lower Gwinnett Township. So, thank you, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle, do you have any comments?
I have a couple. I wanted to, first, on social media, I saw a lot of people had questions and concerns around a multitude of things. The first one being our new trash hauler. And I reached out to Craig, but I just wanted to formally request additional information. A lot of residents kind of understand that they need to put their old bins out and their recycling bins out and the days that they need to do that, but they're not sure about the next steps. When will they get a new bin? What will that look like? Will there be days or a week or where we don't get collection and how that will start up? I understand that there might be additional information that we as a township know, but the vast majority of individuals do not know what the next steps are. Waste management, I think, has communicated that they no longer will be the hauler, but nothing else, clearly. So make a request that information be shared.
Okay, the same week that everyone will have their toters collected by Waste Management, they'll receive toters from Republic Services. What we're finding out, or what we found out, is that I guess Waste Management isn't being cooperative with the transfer from Waste Management to Republic Services. When asking for the list of customers, they told us it was a proprietary list and they did not have to provide that to anyone. So Jamie has really been working with Republic Services to get a new list together, and we think we have a good list, a close list, we'll say, but we've had several conversations and conference calls about this with Republic, and asking for them, that they're going to send out all the information that everyone needs, how they're going to be collecting, how you can go on to Republic Services website and put in their account number and everything. However, they don't have the list yet. So without that, they can't start anything. But we're very close. We think we're as close as we're going to probably get at this point. Everyone will have trash service the next week, November 1st. Everything will be transferred to Republic Services. Everyone will get a toter. Everyone will get a recycling bin the week that they're take one and put one in. So that same week, there won't be any delay with that or with the trash service. The only problem may be billing and any specific information directly to the consumers. But I think by the end of this week, they'll have a good list and they'll send something out to everyone that's on that list. And they'll be able to sign up for the low volume customers if they are already a low volume customer, and what the rates are. The rates are on the website. We have everything we can on the website that we know of. I wanted to put the web link up there, but there's nothing anyone can do to sign up into their account and do an automatic payment or anything like that, because that has not been established yet. So, so it's kind of a delay because I guess foolishly thinking Waste Management was going to just hand over the customer list, and it did not happen.
I mean, so you addressed a lot of the questions that people had, how to be a low user and all of those, how to sign up for automatic deductions, those kinds of things. So
yeah, so we'll put all that information on the website. We'll get that out this week on the website, and hopefully get more information from Republic. So.
okay. The next question I had was prompted by things I saw online, but just questioning what happened with our tax collector and the transfer, and just not completely understanding, or I guess maybe not everybody's paying attention to what we do week to week. So in that vein, I was going to make a motion for us to have an audit of our tax collection to date.
Okay. Well, since we've never had a tax collector leave in working memory, I don't know what the rules are around that. It doesn't sound, I mean, sounds like a due diligent thing to do with the transfer. I mean, it was, you know, unfortunate that Betty Lou's in the position that she's in. I'm sure that wasn't planned. Can we look into this, Craig or Neil, to figure out if we have the ability to do that or request that? As a tax collector, it's its own entity.
Right.
And we
I don't think we would be able to do beyond just the township.
Right.
But just to assure everyone in the public who may have had questions or currently has questions about what took place, how it took place, and anything around that, just to give them peace of mind and to ensure that we're doing our best and our due diligence to ensure that everybody's tax monies are where they're supposed to be.
Sure. So,
well, our auditors already do Betty Lou's books, so we can do that. I don't know how it actually works. You know, in the middle of a.
I know theoretically Linda's not going to begin duplicates until January, and I know that most people do not know that. That Betty Lou is still responsible for the duplicates that she's received all the way through December. So that's why I said to date, but I understand that we're in the middle of a tax collection period.
Yep. So, and I can get with Chuck tomorrow and see how we can work that out. But yes, we could definitely look into that and get back to the whole board with ideas or how we're going to do that. So. I think it's a good idea to do. I mean, we're going to have to do it anyway. I think it's a good idea for Betty Lou too. Just have it done.
Thank you.
all right. Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, that's a very good suggestion, and we'll just have to look into it. Unless anybody's got any more questions, I think we're done tonight. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for attending and members of the public. And I will see everybody again at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.